So we're live.
We are live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am the other host, Paul. And yes, this is everything is going well.
Are we live?
We had a false start.
Yes.
We are live. I can see us.
We shot a bit premature, as all of us men do go through at times.
But then Cable came and told us we weren't recording, and then he left and fixed the timeline.
Let's just say, after this episode is aired, there will be a clip.
Yeah. It was a good intro.
Yes.
It was a fucking great intro.
One of the best intros we've ever done. But yes, we are joined by the beautiful, the lovely, like the absolute gorgeous that is Jessica. We are joined about Lee, and we are joined by the beautiful man himself and his very tired arms, Jake.
I do it again.
Yeah, do it again. So
after blast.
Yes, we had lots of jokes about X-Force. We had jokes about Excalibur. And I fucked it up. I'm in a huff. It's gonna be.
It's okay.
It's gonna be.
Emo Lee's getting a hit in the chat anyway, so it's all right.
That's fine.
Paul's gonna join the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
I'm on my way to becoming. I'm on the way to becoming the Blob. So that's fine.
Oh, I love the Blob. He didn't show up, did he?
No. But yes. So as I said before, you've been spoilt this week. You've seen our lovely faces another night. I think I know when they announced this show, Jessica did messages to say if you do anything to do X-Men 97, I am totally in. And we were like, we'll play it by ear because let's be honest, with Marvel,
you don't know how it's going to go.
No, so with sort of how it going, with how it went, we are here tonight basically. So, and this was the earliest we could do it with someone swanning off to Paris and having holidays and stuff.
I wonder who that could be.
Yes. And Sammy, from last night, your hair's changed colour again.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing what I can do with this hair.
You were talking about hair continuity things on that Carrie episode, and you committed it yourself.
Damn you! But just a big thank you to say Joe as well. If Joe didn't comment in the chat, we probably wouldn't realise we weren't live.
So, thanks,
smiling Joe Border.
To be fair though, the original plan was to record this episode. We weren't actually going to go live tonight, so in theory, it worked out for the best.
Yeah.
Sorry, if anyone can see what my cat's doing in the background, I don't know. I apologise.
It's got a mission it needs to
I really
complete.
don't know at this point.
So in the future, I'm going to put a sticker on my monitor saying, click here to go live, click here to record. So this doesn't.
You'll never do it again, Paul.
It's happened a few times. I'd never told you, but yeah.
Well, I tell you what, because we've got so much to talk about, I'll get the disclaimer done, and then we can crack on into it. So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Facebook page, the Discord, or the comments section, where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. We can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behavior out of nerdism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
yes. So now I'm not thrown anymore. I'm back in the room, like say, feeling me oats and everything. Just to say,
wait, are you a clone?
Possibly. The Church of Scientology are after me after posting discriminating videos of them today. Like, I'm not joking. As soon as I posted the video up, there was a fucking helicopter above my house. So
did you duck? Did you duck?
So I'm just looking out the window, seeing if there's any dodgy people filming me or sunglasses. But yes, and just we need.
It'll be Donna.
Donna's not sneaky enough to shit at that type of thing. She's a shit.
All of the shelves would have fell down by now.
Yeah, terrible ninja Donna. But Joe's in the chat as well, so Joe's safe because it was basically me and Joe slagging off Scientology. I'm worried for Sammy as well because she went after the Hubbard guy. Said he was a shit science fiction writer. So Sammy, they're after you as well.
I mean, I wasn't lying. He really is. It's fucking terrible.
Yes.
Look what it created.
Created Tom Cruise. That's what he created. So yes, X-Men.
Did he make it into the monsters poll on the Facebook group?
No, oh my God! Why did he not?
No, I think he only ended up with 3 votes. But
because everyone's like, I love cool action movies, man. I don't care who acts in them.
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'm just staying quiet. Yeah. I love Tom Cruise's movies.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I promise one day, Lee, we will review Top Gun just for you.
Oh yes.
We'll never do Terminator 2 because it's shit, but we will do Top Gun. He's wanting to bite. Look at him. Look at his face.
I was going to say,
you know how to push my buttons, but just not the recording one.
Yeah, so
or the live one.
It would have been, yeah, close one there.
Look at him thinking he's all brave.
It's all right. He's a beautiful man with his floppy hair. But yes, so we are here to talk about an amazing show, a very exciting show that totally recaptured my belief that Marvel can produce top quality content again. And I don't know how you guys felt. Like, I know we'll get into it a little bit more. Do you think this has been probably the most successful Marvel show to date?
Yeah, like definitely in the Disney Plus, like in the last few years, how Disney Plus has kind of been floundering, I guess. But then also, I don't know if that's to do with like the COVID stuff, like knocking productions back and changing like the industry. But yeah, I feel like exactly the same, Paul, where I'm like, they can do it. They can still do it. Like there was Andor and then there was this, and it's like, okay, if they get the right people, it can still happen. It's not like out of the realm of possibility.
The Marvel fandom's really hard though, because there's so much expectation on Marvel, and as soon as one thing good comes out, and this was absolutely amazing, then it's like, it's saved, and then they'll bring something else to go, it's ruined.
Oh, you never
won. Like, we've had terrible ones, I will agree, but we've had other brilliant shows from Marvel that are getting overlooked.
No, definitely. I think
Fast Food to Nerds is Disney at the moment.
It is, and I'm glad they made the announcement the other week that they are going back to the more limited run of things. I think they said 3 movies per year, 2 or was it? I know it was either 2 or 3 TV shows or something that was going to come out.
That's 6 things in total. Still seems like a little bit of a lot to do, but hopefully the extra time will do them good. But yeah, like I mean, I have seen some people kind of still in that old Marvel mindset where, like, I think you asked about it in the group, and a few of the comments were like, it's been renewed for season 2 and season 3, and I'm like, dude, just like, you just enjoyed like the one new season we got, and you don't have to think about what's next, like what phase is next, and that feels very like old school Marvel fan. I think expectations need to change.
Definitely, and I think with the old X-Men TV show as well, I think me and you, Jake, talked about that a few episodes ago. How that one didn't have like it had continuity, but it had individual stories, and it wasn't really bothered about like where it jumped from or where it left off on these different stories. It introduced different characters or introduced different arcs, but then it was like, we'll tell this story now. If we get like a closure, we'll move on to that. But it doesn't like say like foreshadowing 5 seasons down, this is what's going to be happening type thing, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, because it very much like there's a few like that's kind of like what the format of superhero cartoons used to be. It'd be like sometimes you'd get like a 2-parter, or in the case of the X-Men and Spider-Man, it was like a 5-parter sometimes, which as a kid was quite hard to keep up with when you couldn't guarantee you were going to be there like next Saturday or whenever it was on.
Oh yeah, so when this show came out, as you said, I think I was a little bit hesitant because the original has such like hold in high regard, especially the first couple of seasons of it was just groundbreaking, especially the look, the feel, and I liked how they got the old voice actors still on board again, and a lot of them came back to recreate them. But
it was sorry to interrupt, it was one of Kevin Feige, who sounds like he's taken the reins back. which is a good thing. Only had 2 requests for this show. Mm-hmm. 1, opening title sequence had to be kept the same.
Yeah.
And 2, that was the voice cast, they wanted as many as the original that they could get back in, but there was one actress who was asked to come back, and it's the voice of Jubilee,
right?
And she politely declined because she wanted a half American, half Asian actress to play her, and that's when they got the new actress in.
Cool.
To replace her.
She does still feature in the series. She's the voice of older Jubilee in the game episode. So the older version is the original voice actress, and then there's a new one for the young one.
Really I love that.
Yeah, really adorable. Like, kind of allowing it to just have a little cameo back in.
Because I thought it was a big step. Like, she could have been a dick and just went, "No, I'm taking that role back." But then she was like, "No, let's get her ethnicity voice correct."
She does kind of pass the reins over as well, like by going, right, this is what you could do, and Jubilee kind of copies the powers, going, "Oh shit, I've got that inside of us," like. So it's like passing it on.
I've just felt all warm and fuzzy inside.
Well, yeah, but I think the one thing this show actually blew my mind off, like, because we've all read, like most of us here have read X-Men comics or watched the cartoons and seen the movies and stuff, and the one thing that we've wanted to see in like almost like, not, I know, like we'll want to see it in live action, hopefully we do get it in the future, is how actual powerful these mutants are. And we get that from off the bat, because, like, let's be honest, Cyclops has always been portrayed, like in movie form or anything, as a bit of a wet blanket, as like say, like his optic blasts is one of the most powerful forces in comics. And how
I heard it could crack a planet in half.
Yeah.
Original cartoon, he was still kind of lame. You didn't like him, and I think first episode in, mine and my partner's reaction just like, "Oh my god, they've made Cyclops cool."
Yeah.
Like, Cyclops
finally.
Like, what's going on? Like, I actually like this guy now.
And I'm like totally guilty of being like Cyclops' biggest hater for like for years and years and years. Like, I never thought he was cool. But this time, like, I saw like his powers made sense and they made them look impressive. So I feel like in the old cartoon, it was like a very like straight beam, and he would like make it small or bigger with his little thing that he used to turn or something. But in this, he was like using it like as part of his to move around the battlefield, like when he was sort of like pushing himself across the floor to get out the way of stuff.
Yeah, the jump out the plane.
Yeah,
plane. It's like literally, you good, hold my beer, I've got this.
Oh, that was perfect as well, because they all did like the little poses behind him when the dust settled, and I was like, yeah.
How strong was he?
Impressed by the powers like on screen, and it kind of made me like go like, oh man, like, are they ever going to show us this in live action?
It would be amazing if they do. Like, but what I loved as well is how, like, because Lee described it perfectly when he jumped out the plane and he used his beam to like kind of soften his land. How many muscles he must have in his neck, like, because let's be honest, if he was doing that, like holding up his whole body weight by his own neck as well, that's impressive muscle structure. Like, he never missed neck day, did our Scott?
Nah.
But yes,
not Scott.
No, but then, like, say, with the old TV show as well, it kind of focused on like the fan favorites, like Wolverine, like Jean Grey, like the big hitters, the big names, and went for the stories. This one went a little bit differently as well. It kind of showcased the whole team, but give people like who hadn't probably been in the limelight or like been stand out a little bit more time and a little bit more time to like grow on you as well. So you kind of like, it probably people found like new favorite X-Men or new favorite mutants that wasn't just Wolverine and like going from the old comics.
Yeah,
I felt like Wolverine had a bit of a back seat in this whole series, like, and not like in a bad way, just kind of like everyone else, kind of, he's there, but he doesn't have to be there in your face all the time. Isn't the first episode very reminiscent of the actual first episode of the first one?
it is like Night of the Sentinels, and that like the first thing was sort of like Master Mold coming back online sort of thing, wasn't it? I get confused, like is it Trask or or is it the other guy? There was
Bastion.
two. He was a third guy.
He was the third one. I felt that was really nice to like as an introductory into this new series, is kind of give you some familiarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I still can't see it. But then kind of like steer it in another direction. Like, oh, you think it's one thing, but it's not. It's another thing. And I really like that about the first episode.
Yeah.
And
also, I think first one in what they go to see, they're going to save Jubilee from the Sentinels, and this time it's Sunspot.
Sunspot, yes.
But it's
I
Jubilee,
don't know what his real name is. Like,
he says it, Roberto da Costa. Sorry, it's like in my head, and I'm like, what was it called?
I think he's just there to just be like a Jubilee kind of new guy person. It was so useless. Like he was the most underdeveloped person in the whole this whole season. Like literally, it was just, oh, I'm rich. I don't want to use my powers. I'm scared of everything. Oh, now I'm using my powers. That was his whole storyline. Like everybody else got showcased loads. Apart from like Wolverine, like you said, Sammy. But I don't know. Do you reckon Wolverine got sidelined because? Do you think there's a bit of a Wolverine fatigue with that? Not fatigue, but like we've had so much Wolverine compared to every other X-Men.
I think because
it's not just him.
Yeah, I think it was probably the expectation that Wolverine was going to be front and center. So the makers of this were very, very clever with the decisions and the people who they showcased, and they emphasized the right ones as well. When we finally heard the words that Storm was an Omega level threat, I was like, yes, finally, like someone who can control the fucking weather needs to be represented and like shown what they can do. Magneto, seeing how fucking powerful Magneto actually can be, and not just I'm the master of and sexy, yes. Well, it was a very sexy cartoon. Let's be honest.
But so was the original. Like I think my first ever crush was Gambit. So like the first one that was there. Jess knows what I mean.
It was ridiculous. It was like seeing how everyone had been drawn, and there was this whole thing of we're not going to over-sexualize any of the women. They're all given now like just nicely proportioned, nothing ridiculous, and then Magneto walks in his skin tight outfit with his friggin' childbearing hips and stuff, and it's like so no one else could be sexy. It's all going to Magneto.
And it's like his like halter neck thing he was wearing for like the early episodes.
But we're not complaining though.
No.
They definitely like desexualized them, but the first time you see Rogue from behind, it is just like, what the fuck? Like she's left her ass. She's left her ass in her other pants. Like there's nothing there.
Leif, that's the only thing you're disappointed at. I'll trade Rogue in them pants with Gambit in that tank top any day. I'm sorry. That was just beautiful.
I have ever seen, and it absolutely should be brought back. Why are more men not going back to wearing those 80s crop tops? Like, I stand for that stuff.
It's the tummies, Jessica. It's the tummies.
To be fair though, if I had the body and the physique of Gambit, I would. Otherwise, I'd be looking like Winnie the Pooh trying to put the honey pot away. And no one needs to see me looking like Winnie the Pooh in a little tank top. Do that? That's not a view or like look for anyone to see out there. But
oh no, I've got an image of Winnie the Pooh and Mini Mitts.
Damn you!
Ouch, Sammy.
He's a normal size hand, Sammy. They're normal.
Mate, if you didn't bring it up, nobody would have noticed, and then everyone went, "Oh yeah."
It's only because I spent 3 hours building Lego with my hands, like on
did it shrink?
It's my magic powers. People make things grow, I make things shrink or look smaller. But but anyway,
sexy Magneto,
and hot Gambit. But yes,
but. Yeah, like what I loved immediately was like they didn't spend time with like, oh, Magneto's your silly bad guy, like he was like all business, because I mean that was like the first cliffhanger, wasn't it? Like like hello X-Men or like, my X-Men. But
yeah,
like I loved all of his like I'm not that kind of guy where I'm like, you know, there's the classic thing everyone's like Magneto was right. It's like he's kind of right. He's righteous. It's like indignation is righteous.
Yeah,
but you know he's still a maniac at the end of the day.
His execution is something to be desired.
Yes.
Yeah, but like all of his like speeches when he was trying to rein himself in and be like, you know, okay, I'm gonna give this a go. Like, you know, the legacy of Charles, I'm gonna try and live up to it. Like when he was talking to like the UN people, all of that stuff was like awesome because it's like, right, this is what we as children weren't ready to hear about. Like the politics of X-Men. But it was nice that they immediately, like, you know, within 2 episodes were already in that kind of thing.
Yeah. They went hard with it as well.
They've done well with the writing, I think, of even though it's just an animated show, they haven't really treated the writing like it's an animated show. There's been some pretty poignant moments and quite accurate to a lot of stuff that's like currently going on and making sure to drop it into the story, which is kind of right for the X-Men, that it is mirroring stuff just through mutants rather than what they're really into, what they're talking about.
Yeah, the kind of like
done really well with it.
The mutants are like, it's really like they represent like almost any kind of person who's been othered by like society and stuff. Like I think that's why so many people connect with them. They can be like anything you need it to be, because there's always an underdog in the world, and the mutants are an easy
no, I like that
to like map onto people.
Yeah, I like that analogy as well, because like literally you can look at any type of walk of life, and there's something there in X-Men that someone will find relatable, because they don't shy away from it as well. Like they embrace it and throw themselves in like to the deep end. And as Jessica said, this wasn't just an animated show. They went hard with a lot of the things, and they made so many brave decisions, like especially because I know Jake said at the start, just enjoy like the season we got, but I know they announced they've made 2 seasons. It wasn't just that had been like continued. When they made this, they made 2 seasons back to back. So the second season's complete. It's just they're not going to release it straight away. That's all. They'll probably do a few fine tuning and cleaning up. But knowing what they did in the first season, they went hard with a lot of things. And like I think episode 2, Storm loses her powers and they go into treating her like a normal human. Like that was heartbreaking. Like how it was
hard to watch.
Yeah, like and
there's something in that moment, and it's again how great the writing is when she's told by Beast, where it's like, so how long? It's like there isn't, no, this is it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden all the sound goes. So everyone, like Jean and him, is still talking now, so it just goes quiet around her. And this is a strange one. This is the way that everyone, like I've known who's been diagnosed with cancer, this is what they describe when those words are said to you. That's what
that
happens.
White noise.
Everything just goes like you're not concentrating on anything else. And there seemed to be like quite a heavy reference point of that, of like not hitting it too heavy, but you'd know if you heard that statement from someone before, of like that's kind of what they were doing, of like what the impact of Storm not having her powers was to her. It's like this is pretty much a death sentence to her.
Yeah, and it was done.
What is she without it?
I didn't pick up on that, but now that you say it, it's like it was done in like the medical room as well, so it was very much like clinical kind of diagnosis style sort of scene.
Still find it crazy that like at the end it was, oh well, I haven't got my powers anymore, so I'm just going to leave. I don't need the people that mean the most to us, my whole family that have spent me last 20 years with or whatever. She just leaves.
But imagine her thought. But her thought process, her thought process is not where you are, Lee. It's almost the fact that I can't be around these people who have the ability that I have lost. She needs to go and find herself. She's now becoming this whole new person, someone who she never thought she'd be. She needs to be on her. I get it. She needs to be on her own. She needs to figure it out for herself.
Well, you hear it as well when
fight an owl demon.
Yeah, that was a choice. But well, you hear it like as Jessica put, like where people like get like terminal like illness news or like news that's going to change their lives thing, they'll go on and like they'll either do a few things. They'll either if they're completely sound and mentally ready for it and prepared, they can accept it. They can break and go on a complete self-destruction binge and cause all types of mayhem. Or the other thing is they go on a self-discovery trip where they'll like leave everything behind and think. And that's where I kind of got with Storm. She wasn't going to lose like a shit. Because Storm's better than that. She's always got quite good composure. She's the she was Queen of Wakanda, wasn't she? She was.
She's also been like X-Men leader.
Yeah.
At certain times. So like, yeah, you're right. Like it's a surprise that she leaves. But it like that's the thing this show does. Like it moves really quick all like the entire time. And I hope they don't drop that pace or anything. I can't imagine like they would, but like they get so much done in so little time, but you still get moments to sit with like the decisions and stuff. Like it was amazing how they did it. But yeah, like I hate when mutants get the powers taken away like forcefully.
It's so sad.
It's one of the worst things. It's a proper like tragedy moment, isn't it? When you just like no,
when they like get it back. I love how dramatic the voice actress is when she's playing Storm. I fucking love how she talks. Even in normal conversation, she can still bring the theater with her. I love it.
It was the first thing I wondered when obviously was coming back of like, is Storm still gonna sound that extra in every conversation?
Yeah, and she did.
Yeah, that is what I think like we've been missing for a while, isn't it? The like the theatrical nature. Because remember when we just had like early Marvel films, we had you know, like the old X-Men and had like you know, Charles and Magneto being like, you know, Shakespearean theater men.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with like I know I'm sort of diversing in another cartoon, but Transformers again is very Shakespearean. Like the characters shout at each other like they're kind of projected to the back of the room. I just think we've been missing it, and it was probably nice to have like some of that back.
You know,
it was very welcoming.
Probably the best way I can describe it as well, because that just made me think of something there. Because what Hollywood or like whoever makes these type of movies or like Marvel, Disney, Sony, DC, Warner Brothers, I'm putting you all in the same boat here. You try and make comic book heroes or comic book movies too real. Us as comic book fans, we want the fantasy, we want the splendor, we want the ridiculously over the top stupidity at times. Just showing like and Deadpool and Wolverine how excited the nerd world has got, because Wolverine is going to be wearing the fucking yellow suit, and as simple as that, and I think this show got it so well, because even like later on near the end where they're going into the very old outfits, which just fucking I absolutely love seeing like all the really retro outfits.
Oh yeah, because like was Wolverine in the brown and tan as well?
Yeah, he was in the brown and tan. Scott had the full bald.
Hellfire Gala outfit.
Oh, like a Marvel girl stuff. Yeah.
They do need the over-the-top stuff as well. Like, it's been proven that it works as well with things like... So, we got live-action Dragon Ball, which just failed miserably.
Yeah.
Like, anime to live-action. But then One Piece. One Piece live-action was amazing because it was over-the-top, silly, and it still worked, and it was amazing. So it can that proves that these cartoons like X-Men and Spider-Man and things could go into live action and just do stupid shit.
Just be beautiful.
We also have a massive progression though in what's doable now in costume departments and even your CGI and stuff that really wasn't there when they were doing the first X-Men movies. I don't know if anyone else got it, that they actually kind of played the joke back again in the series.
They reversed it.
When Wolverine asks, like, do you want yellow spandex? And Cable's like, what do you want? Black leather. Like,
they threw that one back, didn't they?
And Cable's like, I'm from a future where it is black leather. Leave me alone. Dad.
God damn. Cable was a lot more lighthearted in this season than especially in the comics, because he's very dark and very he's not very forgiving towards Scott in the comics, shall we say. This one, it was like kind of like Cable Light, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I did quite like it though, because it was like they were both sort of like circling each other but not making a move. You know, like they were both like feeling each other out like for the entire season up until basically the last episode. I mean, it is a complicated family situation.
It must be absolutely fucked up for him.
But you also make him sound a lot more like Josh Brolin for this series.
Yes, I thought exactly that, because I had to go and look to see if it actually was him, because I was like, oh my god, that's some casting right there.
I've been wondering this, like, have they cast people to play live action X-Men yet? Because they've definitely done a few. Like, well, I don't know if this is a spoiler. I can't remember what it was, but Hank McCoy showed up in the after credits for something.
The Marvels, where we had Kelsey. There was Kelsey Grammer back there as well.
Do you think that Beast in this cartoon looks a lot more like Kelsey Grammer? Like,
he had the hairline, but
his face looks a bit more like him. And I was wondering, are they starting to try and push it that way a bit?
They made him look more like the animated version than what Kelsey Grammer actually looked like in the makeup. They sort of went for the animated version at the end of the Marvels with a weird, with kind of the Wolverine hair.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they could have gone the other way like that, but I think it was just wishful thinking that.
I don't know. Like I thought Beast looked the same. Like when he hops into the screen, like that just looked like
maybe Lee's looking into it too much because he's been photoshopping too much. So he's seen things that's not there. He's like, Kelsey, are you there? Oh, he's been watching too much. Too much.
At least they didn't make him look like Nicholas Hoult, so that's good.
Oh, can I just say?
I was hoping that they're bringing Wolverine looking like Danny DeVito, and it's like, yes, it's happening.
He's closer in height, I feel like.
Yeah.
I just want to say as well, like they got everyone's silly catchphrases in. They didn't make a big deal out of it. It wasn't like you talk like this, you know, like the Roberto kid wasn't wandering about and being like, hey, you guys fly now? Like, you know, like Marvel lines or anything. You know, like Beast said, oh, my stars and garters, and nobody made a joke about it, and it was beautiful.
It was a beautiful moment.
But to be fair,
because like when Lee was saying that, I was kind of like thinking like, okay, yeah, they had that Roberto guy as a sort of the stand-in for like the character who still has a family to talk to, because all the X-Men are like, we told our parents years ago, like it's old news to them. And like, yeah, like I'm glad they didn't use them to make like the Marvel jokes, you know, like to be like, whoa, what's all this? Like, you know, like the normal person coming into the crazy world.
Definitely. So we got the show itself, because like with the show like X-Men, it always lives and die on the bad guys, because there was a wide variety of villains in this, or anti-villains and stuff. But what did you think of the main villains, like Bastion and, to a degree, Sinister? Like, were you happy that they used them the way they did?
Yes. Bastion
100%
was amazing. Like it feels like it was sort of oppressed as a mutant, and sort of like how Magneto would have been if Charles wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like, he would have just went, well, fuck all the humans, I'm going to go and kill them, without that, like, kind of conscience.
Like the Jiminy Cricket
holding them
character.
back.
Without having to be pulled back. But wasn't it nice to have the contrast of Charles and Magneto's story, and then having Bastion's, which is slightly the same kind of story, but told in a completely different way. Like his narrative is totally different to theirs too. I love the contrast in that.
I thought it was clever how it was like kind of, I'm going to sound so cheesy saying this, but like an evolution of villains throughout this season. Because you started with like Master Mold, you think, oh, Master Mold's going to be like the big bad. Then it moved on to Sinister. Then it was kind of like, oh, is it going to be Magneto's going to be the big bad? And he's never going to be turned full evil. We might do in the future, but now, like after all he's been through, it was kind of there. Then they hinted at the Shi'ar from space, but then when we got Bastion, like in full like just basically monster
cybernetic glory.
It was actually quite scary how well, and like it kept you guessing as well. It did get silly at times. Let's be honest, but it's an X-Men cartoon. Like as Jake said before, Storm with the owl demon was interesting.
Sinister's haunted house.
Considering she's with Forge at the time, it does work. The fact that Forge is Native American.
I love him.
The theory of like the mystics and the magic that comes with it, and how it would present if something was harrowing them where they are. I don't mind it. It is like, yes, there is a slight silliness that it's a giant bird. But it made sense for their little part of the story to keep it nice and in kin with what was going on that side. Bastion, though, I mean, I think I squealed when I realized it was Bastion. Because like, I love Bastion in the comics. Like, there's something. He's like a really good villain. He's always like 5 steps ahead of everyone. He's so intelligent. It's like terrifying. Like as soon as you think you have done the right thing, it's like, oh, you did exactly what I want you to do. Like, I'm already over here doing the rest of this stuff.
But I think what's scary about him as well is because I think it was a line that was used perfectly. It's like, he is the future.
Yeah. And there was moments in it where I kept thinking, how are they actually going to get out of this? Like I can't see how this is gonna work in their favor. And obviously they did, but I couldn't see how it was gonna work. And I loved that. I loved it wasn't a case of, oh, he's gonna do this thing and then the X-Men are just gonna come in and save the day. It actually got me thinking, how the fuck are they gonna come and save the day?
I did like that. There is I imagine everyone's done it. We've all gone back and rewatched it before we've done this. I think it is like episode 1. They kind of told you this was exactly how the season was going to play out when you get Madeline's dream sequence.
Right.
Even though it's obscure, if you realize it shows you Cable in a sand version trying to get to her and then getting pulled back out. You see the green bomb go off that went off at Genosha.
Right.
You see every little snippet telling you how this season was going to play out. They told you before you would even know what you were watching.
Wow.
You just go back and watch just that dream sequence and go, they did tell me originally what was going to happen. Like, it was all there. It's just so taken apart from itself. You wouldn't have known until it plays. It was really clever.
Oh, cool. And like talking about, like I say, the Jean Greys, I was so happy we finally got closure on, like, say, that kind of Sinister arc that we didn't get from the old show, because Sinister was obsessed with Jean and Scott in the old show, but it kind of like nothing happened. It just disappeared. He kept on kidnapping them. Then for some reason we didn't get to know what happened or why he was doing it. So kind of getting that now in the new one, give us a little bit of closure from back in the day.
I've got to admit, like, Sinister's always confused me, probably because I only watched those cartoons, and like you said, the left like the threads. The Madeline Pryor stuff, as someone who's not like a huge comics fan, like who hasn't had a chance to read like years of comics, like that was confusing. I had no idea there was like infiltrated clones of Jean Grey and stuff like that. Never heard of Goblin Queen or anything like so. It's like the haunted house episode did like lose me a bit when I was like, well, okay, I know about the techno-organic virus, I've heard of Cable, like that part brought me back a little bit at the end. I mean, I liked it once I sort of like had time to process everything, but I think that was a bold choice, I think, going that hard on the whole Summers drama like right early on.
I've got some opinions on this whole like Nathan thing where like Sinister's...
Have you got opinions, Lee? Opinions?
Right, so, all right, so
Sinister.
Right. No, I'm so pissed off with Scott and Madeline with that whole Nathan thing. Like, he gets that virus thing and Scott's like, yeah, I can't do this, and he just leaves.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, well, we'll take him to the future. And Madeline goes, well, I'm going to go and start a new life, and just leaves. If she wanted to start a new life, she could have went to the future with her son.
Bishop said they only had enough juice for him and this.
Oh, did they? Right.
Yeah.
I missed that.
You can always blame Bishop.
Did anyone see the memes about Bishop, about this whole thing of like some of them were brilliant. Of like Bishop, you sure you know how to help like carry a child? Like, yeah, absolutely know how to carry a child. Scott, give me try and change the baby's nappy in the middle of the time vortex. Like, sometimes things just happen.
When it comes to Nathan and Cable as well, how long has this is me asking you guys questions to fill me in on gaps here. How long has Cable known that Scott and Jean are his parents?
We're going to get this in season 2.
Jean's not his mom.
Jean's not technically his mom. Madeline is his mom.
Madeline,
but she's a perfect clone. So I think she's still.
But still, he's been coming back in time, and there's been fights where he's like, die, and shooting them. And it's like, dude, you won't be born.
maybe
like, calm down.
To be fair, though.
I don't know if that's how time travel works in X-Men, because they've sent people into their future selves' brains and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I think it's definitely a season 2 story by how they left this season off, where everyone, how they split the group.
Yes.
That so many of them are in the past, and Jean and Scott are in the future, and they meet Nathaniel as a kid. As well as, spoiler alert, the other one as well.
Yes.
The dick.
Yeah, there's gonna be definitely a past, present, future when it comes to season 2.
My joke is they're gonna fuck up the future, they're gonna fuck up the past, and then come back and go, sorry guys.
They've already done Days of Future Past though, so I don't think they can kind of replicate too much. But even they've done that in the cartoon. I'm interested to see which storylines they take from the second one. But again, that's where the nerd in me is coming out, because I'm getting really excited because of what we've just had. Now, there is a lot of standout moments. Again, I know we'll get through like a few of them. So, because I really want not to make Jess cry, but I want to know what Jess's standout moments would be in this show.
My boy.
That was a proper Harry Potter moment right there. My boy.
Oh, it was devastating. I'd literally just bought the Loungefly bag as well of Gambit, and it arrived 2 days after that episode.
All right.
Did you clutch it really tight?
Did it say to you, the name's Gambit, remember it?
Oh, God. No, I mean, my boy. He never does anything wrong. No, it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, they're putting that episode up for an Emmy and stuff, which absolutely, yes.
Wow.
Brilliant. I think I spent the rest of the season though just like, it's fine, it's all good. Cable's gonna save the day.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 2 more episodes.
Tried 200 times.
No, like, what's going on? Why is he not back yet? Like, no, this doesn't happen. Gambit never died. He never died. Like,
I think that's where the fan base kind of got the hopes up, thinking that, like, that's where, like, as Sammy said, no one knew how like it was going to be fixed, and we thought, well, Cable's going to come into it and do the whole time switcheroo and everything. All this is all like
it's
lost
just all one big nightmare.
But that whole approach, like the build up to that point as well, like the whole Rogue and Magneto thing, because I thought that was brilliantly done, because no fan wanted Rogue to be with Magneto, because everyone loves Remy. Everyone is a fan of it.
Of course you did.
Because you're the evil mastermind, Jake. But that's where I think the writing was perfect, because it kept the fan base stopped from falling in love and loving Magneto, because they kind of like saw that as a betrayal to Gambit. So it was like, Gambit is going to be like the forever Wolverine character, where him and Wolverine will always be loved, doesn't matter what they do. They can turn bad guys and turn them into dicks. They'll always be loved because of what they've done in the past. And it was kind of like seeing Gambit kind of heartbroken, but then when the battle in Genosha started, and we've seen Gambit fight in the past, because he normally just like he throws a stick around and throws a few cards and things like that. But his movement and like his way of just basically taking charge, and I've never wanted to be a motorcycle being ridden by Gambit so much in my life. Just the way he handled it, like he knew how like everything that was going, and that lead up there, we weren't like this has been great for spoilers. There's not been that many spoilers that came out where it's like everything's like shit, Gambit's going to die.
Like, yeah.
So generally, when it happened, you were left gobsmacked. Like my heart was like literally in me stomach. I was like, "Fuck! They've went there. They've did that." And you're thinking, as Jess said, it'll all be fixed. Then the next episode, we have a fucking funeral, and it gets a little bit more serious. It's like,
he's not coming back.
No.
I did love the whole fight sequence leading up. I think it was this episode where you saw Wolverine riding him like with a whole kinetic energy and using his actual energy to be able to. I loved that moment. But that gut wrenching through his stomach.
Do you think he'll be back in season 2?
Yes.
Or do you think they might try and drag it out a bit?
No, he's 100% coming back. 100% coming back.
Jess is getting a fan fiction wrote now.
Oh yes,
not as the Gambit.
Not the Gambit we'll know. Like there is, like I have heard stuff about the Apocalypse thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're getting into that just yet.
Yeah. I don't know. It was done beautifully. It's all really great. It's the only thing that's annoying me about the internet when it's come to Gambit is there's been for some reason this logic that Gambit's a fuckboy, and I'm like, no. It's like you went and watched the original cartoons and everything. There is an episode where like Morph's messing with them all, and he turns at Rogue and says, "Oh, like you can kiss us if you want to." When he goes in and does it, he obviously gets knocked out. And she's like, "Why'd you do it without my consent?" It's like, no, Gambit knows consent. You said yes. He's always been like the guy who like has a really strong moral code. Even when she says like, "We're not doing this because Magneto, we can actually touch. I can't with you." It's like, well, I'll just be your friend.
Yeah.
I'll still just be your friend if that's all it takes.
Yeah.
You know, even at the end, obviously, what causes his death is knowing that she won't stop. So he has to stop it.
Yeah.
In that scene, though, obviously, when he actually does the ride out and stops it all, there's no music at all in the scene.
No,
it's
just
done
silent.
completely silent for like the maximum amount of impact of what's happening now.
Yeah, you've got to take it all in. But if it's anything like Uncanny X-Men, you will see Gambit back. Just put it out there.
I'm so excited for how he's gonna look.
I don't actually like the Uncanny X-Men look, but I feel like animated it might be able to be pulled off.
I think they might go a different look with him because it'll end up looking too much like a lot of other characters. If they're clever, they're going to do something more unique of how he's going to look when he returns.
Yeah.
I hope it's just more to fangirl over.
But like I said, the one thing that did send me over the edge with Gambit, like in this season, it wasn't the line. The line was delivered perfectly. It was the smile. It was like when you thought everything was like over and like Master Mold had like turned its head and like deemed him as no more as a threat, and you saw the realization in Gambit's like in his eyes and stuff, and he just turned his little smile up, and you knew what was going to come from then. And you thought, "Fuck!" And it was just so well done. Other shout out I would be amiss not to mention because I know he wasn't in it much, but every scene he was in, he stole the limelight every single time. Nightcrawler, like, I'm sorry, Kurt was fucking phenomenal. He was.
What's the line? Is that I've got 6 reasons why? It's like no, 9. He's got Jigsaw's one hand and one with the tail.
Yeah.
Oh, it's when I have never seen my almost 40-year-old husband get that exciting, giddy when he got the swords. It's when he got the swords that like the child just came out of him. He was like so happy. There was a few moments like that in the season, but Kurt was the one who really like, because it's one of his favorite X-Men. He loves them. And he was just, I nearly cried. I think I watched him more watching this because of the sheer like enjoyment just out of his face. Bless him.
Just that fight scene when he's back to back with Wolverine, like them are fighting all them robots, and he's holding his own, and that just showcases like what we've wanted to see from Nightcrawler, because he's always been shown as like almost like a sad character or like downtrodden, but he's so joyous. He's like one of the most funnest character in the comics. Like literally every time he's on the page, he brings a smile to your face because he's just so he's so vibrant and full of life. He doesn't let anything get himself down, and his power is he can like basically teleport, but he leaves a fart every time he does it. So again, it's a huge joke, but it's hilarious. And
I didn't even notice
that. That's why it's
just left a fart behind.
It is. It's like a little barf.
They say it smells like sulfur as well. That's part of his demonic mischaracterization.
That's funnier than a fart. I'm sorry.
No, I think the problem with not the problem, but I think why people like animators and movie people avoid like teleport characters is because you got to put a lot of work in to make it like look impressive. So if you half-ass it, everyone's like pissed off because you messed up Nightcrawler. If you do it well, you've got to spend probably like twice as long on the action scene as like you would for anyone else. But it's absolutely worth it when they actually put the time in. And
teleporting's easy to do CGI. Like, just remember me bag of popcorn that teleported in my Star Trek video. Yeah.
Oh God, you
experts now, Jake.
I got the after effect.
We've got George Lucas with us now. George Lee.
Thinks he is.
Going to be a Duvak walking behind in a second.
But if you just to bring the Marvels up again, their fight sequences were very teleportation-y, where it did work fluently. That they could use the same technique in live action.
And we also had like X-Men 2, was it? That had a Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler is amazing. X-Men 2. I love that version. And if
even though he's a weird assassin.
A knob and leaked stuff in a Hollywood party, he would have been in the third one.
Who was it again? Is it Alan Cummins?
Yeah.
Alan Cummins, yeah, he got fired because he was chatting too much at a Hollywood party.
Oh, yeah.
What about being Boris from Goldeneye? I was Boris.
Hey, he was in a funny sitcom back in the 90s, if anyone can remember it, and his little catchphrase, "Oh dearie me."
Oh, was that about the flight intelligence?
Yeah, I fucking loved it.
I do love Alan Cummins, but yeah, I think that it proves he is actually possible to do. As much as I don't like the second wave of the X-Men movies, but they managed it with Azazel as well. Like he managed to do the teleportation right. Blink's probably the only one where it looked a little bit weird.
Yeah, the only thing
Blink didn't really work.
Yeah, it's funny talking about Azazel because rumors he's going to be in the new Wolverine movie as well. So
Well,
there's no rumors; he's in the trailer.
Yeah,
he's been seen.
It's only a tiny thing. You can.
I hope Deadpool tells him he sucks.
Yeah,
because he really does.
I don't get too nerdy about that trailer because I'm like, we're talking about the X-Men. I have things to say about that trailer, but I'll leave that till we talk about that at some point.
I was wanting to mention something about Deadpool because it's kind of like the total opposite of this. Like this show like loves X-Men and loves the silly stuff, and it has like reference for everything. But I think like Deadpool's in a bit of a rut now where he's like actively poking fun at the X-Men stuff, and it's like okay, I get it, it's easy jokes to make, but you're sort of knocking your own thing down a few pegs. It's like you need to, I think in the third one, I hope that they're a bit more
I think this theory to the third one of what they're doing to stop this whole thing where fans are like, even the sniff of an actor might reappear.
Yeah,
I think that's the whole plot of Deadpool, of like, we are going to clear the board, so you stop asking when will this actor come back. Are they going to reprise their role? It's like, no, we got rid of them.
Yeah,
because like
fresh on after this.
Because we've talked a bit about like how some things are done better in cartoons and then are hard to transfer to live action. That is what I love about cartoons, because you can have characters show up and it's not like oh, this actor was in LAX, going to a movie set. It's like, no, like Spider-Man can just show up from the old cartoon because it's friggin' it's an image of Spider-Man. Like that's all you need.
Yeah.
Like there's no barriers in animation where it's like, well, we can't get Tom Holland, we can't really show Spider-Man, Sony's not playing ball. Like they can just show a Spider-Man, like they can show Mary Jane, Doctor Doom can show up, like it doesn't matter because it's just a drawing of a person. And I was really happy they were like unleashed.
Let's talk about the cameos though as well, because like the cameos in this.
Sorry, how major it is seeing Mary Jane stood next to Peter Parker at the end.
Oh, yeah.
He found her.
Yeah.
That's where they left off. He didn't know if he could find her again. It's like, he did, he found her.
But
they now stood back together. And it's pretty huge if you followed that cartoon.
Yeah, I love that cartoon.
Somewhere in it, he did find her again when he got back to her.
Because, like I say, with this as well, it was not just the X-Men cameo, like things. We got a lot of other cameos that I wasn't expecting. I know the Captain America one was in the trailer initially, which, like say, Sammy didn't see her, bless her, so she was all excited for that.
So happy.
But when we got all the cameos, like the Hulk, Daredevil, like Omega Red, like Silver Samurai, and all them.
Yeah, he was just a tiny little man standing on it.
Got T'Challa, not T'Challa.
Yep, Black Panther.
It's the dad.
Yeah.
And I was thrown, and then Ant went, "It's 97."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, it's his dad."
Mm-hmm. And
T'Chaka, that's it.
We got the crappy Iron Man outfit as well.
I love that Iron Man outfit.
Oh, I love that because Iron Man was terrible in this, and I'm like, yes, because it's 97 when everyone hated Iron Man.
We're not there yet.
4 years later, everyone was like, I always liked Iron Man. It's like, oh, did you?
I love it. Morph gave us a lot of things as well. Like he turned into the Hulk at one point, which the Hulk wasn't allowed to be in the X-Men originally because it was owned by something else.
Universal.
Had his own crappy cartoon.
Universal.
Like they tried to get the Hulk back in and do like a collaboration back in the day, is what I've read, but they couldn't get it.
One thing with Morph that Ant kept bringing up was that Morph can replicate a person's look, but not their power, and that didn't seem to be the case.
I heard it was the opposite. One.
The way around. So I went into a deep dive of this. So I was like, obviously they've really heavily used Morph this season, as much as it's enraged me every episode where I'm like, oh my god, it sounds no, it's just Morph.
Darn it.
And again, pulled out by
Morph stole the scene for me, like pretty much all the way through the series. Like it's always getting like dead serious, and it's like, oh shit, what they're gonna do? And then like Morph shows up like
it's like when you walk into a room.
Like at the very one of the very first scenes we see him in, they're like, "Oh no, it's been terrible that Professor Xavier's been gone this long," and then Morph comes in as Professor Xavier, like, "Ah!"
Also there was definitely some like fan, like they were trying to make some fans happy where they were like, he turns into Jean Grey next to Wolverine at the bar, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely been
they might have done it.
Like, get into the room now, get the Jean Grey on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still Jean Grey technically.
Is that consent?
What the difference was between, like say, him and Mystique.
Yeah.
And it is that difference. It's like Mystique can make herself look like them. And at some points in certain comic veins has been able to like move her organs around, extend extra limbs and stuff, whereas Morph can, for a short amount of time, replicate powers as long as they are physical.
Right. Okay. So he couldn't shoot like Cyclops' eye beams, but he couldn't
do the eye beams or anything like that. But if it's a physical things like Angel, magic and stuff like that, it's like you can replicate theirs. There's a really in-depth one. It's amazing to get into.
Yeah, because the first episode I freaked out. I was like, how the fuck's the Angel? Where's he come from? And I was like, oh, it's Morph, pretend to be Angel. I was like, you twats. But yeah.
You know what? Quickly just mentioning Angel. You know what I loved? How they had that old photograph in like Xavier's office of like the OG ones, and they didn't change it at all. Like it is what like the comic book cover looks like, and it had Beast with his human feet. Which I still haven't got up to that part in my X-Men reading how they changed.
I have a vintage box set of those figures of the first class where she's still Marvel Girl and stuff, and like I daren't open it. It's like half full.
Open them all, let them out.
No, it's probably worth like 2 more years worth fortune.
Good girl.
No, they need to be breathing. But yeah, I think Morph was used very well. I was interested in it as well, like how they hinted at like how Morph felt towards Wolverine as well. That was quite an interesting take. Because I don't know about the comics or anything. I didn't know if, like, say that had that kind of relationship, but it makes sense how he kind of idolized Wolverine to then become infatuated, because I think in the first season they were best friends.
Oh yeah. It was, but like was he kind of created for the show and then got in comics afterwards?
I think he is, because he's partly based off a character called Chameleon, and like a little amalgamation of a few different older comic book characters.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I imagine maybe later on they wrote him into comics.
Right.
Like
they do that, like how Harley Quinn made the jump.
Yeah, I imagine it did happen. But yeah, I think he's meant to be like a bit of a Frankenstein character that wanted to have something like that, but have their own choice in how they were going to play him.
But like Paul's right though, because like Wolverine, right? He's been alive for like how many? Like, is it like hundreds of years?
A lot of years.
100 years, maybe.
He was out in the Old West.
he was but like he's not going to have the same view of like human sexuality as other people do. So like I could absolutely see him hooking up with Morph on occasion, just being like
why not?
Yeah,
especially so when it's like, what do I fancy?
I don't know how far they'll go into that scene. It was going to be like an Always Sunny, like, we want full penetration.
But to be fair though, Morph would be an interesting partner to have, because you could just think, what do I fancy tonight? It could be like picking your teeth.
You have to love the real Morph. It can't all just be like that.
Depends how long you can stay in that pose, but yeah.
I think Wolverine's going to be really sad in the next season. I don't think he's going to be getting up to anything happy.
No, it kind of gives me ever so slight The Boys' Wives as well, though, with the one that Homelander has, who can change himself into, is it Madeline?
Yeah.
Yes.
The boss, but he can only hold it for so long. And then he has to sort of dishevel back out of it. It gives me those kind of vibes where I'm like, maybe not actually.
So we mentioned
we haven't spoke about the Wolverine thing much, and obviously that's a massive thing there, isn't it?
They made it like, because the end scene was fucking amazing to see, like as Sammy said on the podcast today, the blood and the like almost liquid adamantium coming out of him, like how it'd been like basically melted down from like to the core from Magneto doing it. They didn't make a big deal the next episode. It was kind of like Wolverine's there, and Scott's just saying, Wolverine, do something for Jean, heal.
He said, don't break her heart.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, don't do it. But you're right, they really downplayed it in the next episode. And that was massive, him having his adamantium like literally taken from him. And the first time in X-Men history, you got to see blood from Wolverine. Like it wasn't done in the original. So to do it was quite a ballsy move. And it's such a pivotal point for Wolverine now, because you've getting Wolverine as the X-Men, part of the team. This is going to make him go fucking feral.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think we're going to get feral Wolverine?
He's going to go, yeah, because he's now going to be having to produce, because it's a whole healing thing, and he'll have to, in these bone claws will appear, and he's going to go fucking feral.
I think they've done well to set up so many really good comic lines for the season 2, because there are things like what's going to happen to Wolverine now. We know what happens in the comics when he loses the adamantium. You do have things like, if I get this right, it's Onslaught, which is Xavier and Magneto, and
yeah, my husband kept shouting that at the end. Onslaught! What the fuck?
We're going back to the Horsemen again, as well as bringing in people like Rachel Summers as well. There is like a huge plethora of storylines to come for season 2, and they're all really big, major ones.
Yeah.
Well, my husband's convinced, and especially with the whole Uncanny X-Men run, that it will be Gambit who is one of the 4 horsemen of death.
He's death.
Yeah.
Death.
So, are we going to get that far with Apocalypse, do you think, though? Because that was teenage Apocalypse, wasn't
but you
it?
saw him in past, present, and future. So you saw 3 versions of Apocalypse, and all 3 of them are in with him. So it's going to be interesting.
The blue guy version then.
But is he the one who has death, isn't it? When he has so much death. There was an end credit scene, wasn't there? Was that the end credit scene?
He's got the card.
He's got the card.
He lands he's there in Genosha, and he's like, "Look at my children, look what they've done to you," and he's holding the playing card in his hands.
It's Andy's band as well. He has his headband in his hand.
Okay, I think I just forgot about that because I was obsessed with the teenage Apocalypse.
So much death. Oh, he looked amazing.
He did.
When Xavier sees Gambit, like, kind of in that weird where he's, I don't know, I hate the episode, to be honest. It's the one episode I really didn't like, where they have the bird people.
My mind just switches off when you go to like space people.
Yeah, same here. Well, to a degree, but I wasn't feeling that episode.
Yeah.
But when Gambit shows up, then all of a sudden he goes like skeletal face, and it's like, again, it's just a nice little nod to tell you this is the way it was going to go. He's going to come back as Death, the Horseman.
Yeah.
Kind of storyline-wise, personally, I want it to work out in the sense of he will come back and he'll be soulless. And it's going to take us something like Rogue to bring him back from the point, but it will have an amazing bit of story, but everyone will be aware he died. Rogue will still be aware she watched him die. And they're going to have the emotional trauma of going through that afterwards as well, of like what they saw and what they had to live with. Not just reset it and everything's fine and lovely.
Yeah, and we just go back to normal again.
Like really get into the depths of like what does that do after you've watched someone die and how it's changed Rogue, how it's going to change him.
It's such a different level of trauma that would be interesting to actually see played out. Oh, I like that.
But also the rough world at the moment.
Yeah.
So
well, they're all separated, aren't they?
That's all going to be happening while they're pulled out of the timeline.
I was watching.
Because they landed with Apocalypse, and what's Rogue going to talk about? The person that she loved that died. So what's he going to do in the future? He's going to go and seek that shit out. He's going to try and fix it.
Interesting. I know, just to quickly ask about as well, and because we could lead down a right rabbit hole if we keep going down that route. One thing I wanted to ask about, because we got such an abundance of characters and people in this show as well. It was very interesting on the ones that was left out that we didn't see. Because if you go back to the original show, like characters like Mystique, like Avalanche, like Pyro and stuff, were quite prevalent in that in the original show. We didn't even get hints. Like Juggernaut was never mentioned or hinted at or anything like that.
Yeah, no Brotherhood, like, lackeys, like Toad and everything.
So
it's a nice little nod at the end if you look at the wall that Forge is looking at. Who's left?
Yeah, that's right.
Who's off worlds? Colossus is not. He doesn't have a sign over him. There's a nod to maybe who will be coming into season 2, who's going to have to patch up the X-Men team until the originals make it back. By what's on that board, and it's one of those lovely nerdy ones to like pause it and look.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I haven't seen a post with somebody like enhancing it, because that's what they normally do. But I did watch a video earlier today. I started watching it and then I got bored because he was just banging on.
I'm sorry, I do videos. God damn it!
It was about the ending with Rogue and where they were in the sand, and the background, the dome shaped building. If anyone noticed it, is Kang the Conqueror's. And when oh god, what's teenage Apocalypse called?
As
Ends a bad no, something like that.
I think Jake's going to get the closest there. So well done.
He has,
I had the trading card.
when he was in that time, he was actually fighting the first Kang, Tootin, whatever his face is. The guards that he was fighting are his guards, so it all comes back to Kang the Conqueror, and that's how people think. Because obviously there's a lot to do with Loki Series 2 as well that fits into that. Think that that's how it's going to expand into the MCU. This was just one guy's theory, and bear in mind, he didn't prattle on.
I'm out. Bye.
Fab, and I love the idea of doing an animated version of Kang and even Moon Knight and stuff starting to appear in those stories. But I think it's like they've already come out and said the one thing they're not doing, the animated series have nothing to do with live action. They want the animated stuff to stay in one little area and then live action.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
That's
I'm just saying. I've just been able to say because Dave broke it down. And it was Tutankhamun.
Yeah. I hope he missed a correction. Pipe down.
I think as Jessica said, I want this to be separate. I'm loving me little bit of nostalgia and like it's keeping us like in a nice warm blanket and of hope and that everything's going to be right.
But you knew Marvel fans were going to do this. You knew Marvel fans were going to do this. They were going to reach for the next bit and how to, how it's going to all fit into place and you can't just have it as something that's separate. But listening to what he was saying about Saban's origin, it kind of makes sense what is like with with Kang being there, but whether or not that fits into what they plan on doing with the MCU, because apparently according to this guy, they're not dropping the Kang Dynasty. They're dropping the movie. They're not dropping him.
No, I've heard that. I've heard that. Like it's going to go down the same way, which again, I'm not too sad about. I like Kang as a villain. It's just not being used right.
The Easter eggs on the Magneto file. Did anyone else see them? Because I got super excited about it.
No, I didn't see anything like that.
File is opened. There are things that are redacted on his file. One of them, Polaris, is redacted for some reason. Even though she's shown in the series, she was on the.
She was in the
But in his redacted names, one of them starts with an I, and his surname starts with an M. And the other one is an M and an F. So it's Ian McKellen and Michael Fassbender as redacted aliases for him.
That's so cool.
I feel like I heard that.
Oh dear me.
It's brilliant.
That is genius. That to even like put that little nod in there. I love that.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about Xavier's like voice in this? Because I thought he sounded
I did not
silly.
like it. I did not like it, and
is that the
had
original?
A lot of problems.
Is that the original guy?
No, I don't think so.
Why did he arrive in
someone died?
Starbug when he lands. Why is he he's in Starbug when he drops back into the dimension?
Yeah,
I did not like some choices from him.
Yeah.
In this series, there was some choices I didn't agree with.
Welcome to being a real X-Men fan, because like that's how you know who's a real fan if you hate Xavier.
He's a dick.
Do you know who did his voice, Lee? Before you start going on a big massive rant, it was Ross McCord, who was the replacement for the Red Skull in
No way.
Also in Walking Dead.
Yes,
he was the voice.
Mace hand guy.
Yeah,
class.
Yeah, it's him.
I didn't realise that.
Not a good choice of a voice. It was very whiny.
Yeah,
Magnus.
Whiny Magnus.
Eric.
But yeah, just for me rant. Sorry, right.
Come to me, my X-Men.
Sit down, everyone.
Xavier is a massive dickhead, and the biggest dick thing that he's done is every time he has to take on Magneto, he goes, right, get his helmet off. Now, Magneto, remember the Holocaust? Fuck me! Like, what a time to take someone back to, like, the worst thing that's ever happened in history. You lived through it. Let's make you remember everything. Jesus Christ.
It's like one thing to get your humanity to come back is not to be reminded of that, basically. But yeah.
He does really do that in the comics, though. There's a
He's such a dickhead. Like, how you didn't have to go that far.
He was so self-righteous. He was so hypocritical. He was not. His decision making was absolutely piss poor. And I felt I was mad at him, like really, really mad at him when he's like begging for all of these children. Like, you fucking don't deserve them. You left them.
It's I saw this really cool like comic panel today where he was like talking to Cyclops, being like, you know, I Xavier was saying like, oh, I'm the leader of the X-Men, and like Scott was like, you're the headmaster of the school, like when they're out in combat situations, like I'm the leader of the X-Men type of thing.
Fuck you.
And they kind of did a little bit of that where like Scott didn't really know what to say to him when he came back, and he kind of just left the situation. Which I thought was a good way to do it, instead of having them hug it out and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Be mad at him.
I think he asks him, like, why would he have done what he's done? He's like, so you could have a life. He's like, but when did it appear anywhere? It's like, everything would have still played out. It started to come back. And it's the same, Rogue does the same thing. It's, you know, she's wearing Gambit's jacket as well.
Yeah.
If you try to look like students and actual people, like, you haven't even really asked about the guy and he died.
Exactly. You haven't even taken into account the feelings of your X-Men. You're more concerned about the fact that, oh, I left you for a bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God, you're so pathetic.
It was pretty. I did like the scene when he got like the psychic shock of what happened on Genosha, like, you know, in real time.
Yeah.
Like, I did think they did that well. Where he was just like, you know, distraught and was like, no, they were like, you know, they were happy, everyone was singing, they were like making love, and then it was just like, then everything it like fell apart for him.
Death.
But then like his sort of actions didn't reflect it. But I think that's like Xavier's character, isn't it? He's more or less like a kind of military minded leader person. Like he's not very like personable until like there's a quiet moment. But yeah,
I think his treatment of Scott Summers was awful.
He shit all over him.
He really did, and I feel like Scott deserves more. I think he deserves more.
I think
the leader of the X-Men, apart from when I decide something, and then not even just like Xavier, like the whole X-Men team, like he's trying like, oh yes, let's do this. Wolverine, no, nobody listens. And then, all right, Xavier's gone. All right, I'm in charge. Wait, no, I've left everything to Magneto. Yeah. Fucking arch nemesis.
Maybe that's
why.
In the face again. Maybe that's why Scott actually started to become a bit more self-assertive and actually likable, and like as you said, we saw him less as a douchebag in this one because Xavier's not there to put him down, mess with his confidence levels and stuff like that. We saw an actual confidence Cyclops without Xavier around, so maybe that's what we need. We need to kill off Charles. Let's start the plot.
We got so much good Scott Summers content this season, and so much development, and how many things happened to him that like defined his character throughout this. What, 10? Is it 10 episodes?
8?
10?
Is it?
10? I can't remember.
That like final sort of psychic message with Cable as well in the diner, that was like super cute. And sad. I think that's what the old X-Men stuff, including like the OG series that this is based on, it was taking like comic book stuff, you know, like it was taking like Scott Summers and Jean Grey's history in the comics and being like, oh, you care about these characters because like they've got all this comic history. It's like, I haven't read the comic history. Can you tell me why? Why should I like the Summers family? Because like they're kind of like they rub themselves if you don't know anything about them. It's like, you know, but then you learn and you're like, actually, well, yeah, the like in the family they've got like 9 Omega level mutants. Like they're very important to like
definitely. But I think you get the same type of thing that happens when you go back and like try and watch. And I know the bad films and stuff, but the Fantastic Four, you never know why you're supposed to love these characters, because people expect to say these like, oh, there's hundreds and thousands of comics, you love knowing them, you know why you should love these characters, and it's like, no, they're just a boring family on the screen you're showing, but they're not. They're
not. There's so much more. They are so much more, and if this pans out, how MCU are going to handle it, and if it really does do well, I hope to God I am sitting here talking about how fucking fantastic that family actually is, because I fucking love them.
You can't use that word to describe.
Well, if I know, I was like, shit, I put myself in a hole here. I can't.
You're not allowed to say the phenomenal four either.
The fancy four.
The fancy
fantabulous four.
The Fantastics.
So I'm going to give a quick mention to, there is a line in one of the episodes that has to be like my favourite line in the whole series, just because it's so stupidly comical. Mm-hmm. And it's when Madeline's going into labour and she shouts to Wolverine, where she's like, Wolverine, he's here, and he pops the clothes like, who? Apocalypse is like, no, it's a
baby. Oh, Wolverine's got some trauma rolling around in that metal head of his.
I tell you what, he scared us when he was driving as well. I was like, fair enough, I know you need to get to the hospital quick, but why the fuck were you just going on the actual across the pavement and trying to kill dogs and stuff like that? You're the fucking monster.
It's interesting though, because Lee's touched on it, and I've seen this sentiment thrown around quite a lot online, where people are like, oh, Wolverine was a background character, he didn't do anything, and I'm like, have you guys not been watching like any X-Men stuff for the past like 20 years? Like we've had enough Wolverine. We know every single thing we could ever know about Wolverine up to this point, and X-23 as well. Like we just need to leave Weapon X for a little while. Like fair enough, reference it every now and then, but I don't think they did reference it at all, which that is impressive. Like to make an X-Men show and not flash back to like Alkali Lake at all, like not once, or mention Stryker or anything.
And that too was pretty much like this though. He was still very much similar, that there were some storylines that fitted to him, but he wasn't every storyline.
Yeah. He got his Japanese flashback. I remember that as a kid.
Completely all turned around what the X-Men are meant to be. That's like, oh, Wolverine leads the group, Wolverine is this, and it's like,
No, he doesn't.
In the movies, not so much of what I remember of the comics and the old cartoons and things. Like, no, he's always like in the mix.
Yes,
nicely in the mix.
He's
and like that's how he played in this one.
But yeah, like kind of what I was saying, like how they were like unleashed to have any character they want and just have their world be like, it's the Marvel world. Iron Man is here, but he's not like the star of the show or anything. That's what I love about like Avengers comics and stuff, when they go outside of like a 6-7 person team. It's just like, oh, Wolverine's here, we need to ask Wolverine a question, so we're going to go and talk to Wolverine. Like that's what the MCU is stuck with, because they're like, oh, we need to have our $1 million actor show up if we want to talk to Thor in this movie. And it's like, I really wish they could somehow figure out how to like to not be like shackled by that kind of thing. Like animation is the shortcut, but this felt like a massive world, and it was like, yeah, Spider-Man's there, but you don't need to see what he's doing, you don't need to play his theme song, like he just lives in this world, and we'll get to him later, maybe, or never. Possibly. It's fine either way.
It's funny though you're saying that, because I did read something the other day. There was, when they were asked about, like, because they said, did Marvel or anyone say anyone was off limits, they said there was only one character that weren't allowed to touch or have any reference to at all. Deadpool.
Who is it? Deadpool.
Yeah. Actually, I just watched an interview of them last night where they're doing some promo for the movie, and it's they're keeping him out of it because they know he's about to come with his own movie and not have it be overshadowed by putting him in.
Well, it would have, because it would have taken away everything, like the specialness of what you've just seen. It's like, how we'll just shove Deadpool in there just for the sake of it, just because he has a movie coming out.
Also, like the fans aren't really ready for like serious Deadpool yet, because like, you know, this story wasn't a happy time for mutants.
No,
like, there wouldn't be any Deadpool jokes that would fix any of these situations. And I think I think everyone is at the moment they're still stuck on like Deadpool's the wacky guy, like so yeah, I don't think.
And let them have that. Let them have that for a bit.
Yeah,
like,
until
you don't realize how much of a dick
until he fucks it all up.
He's a dick in the comics, though. But yeah.
Oh yeah, but like he has like a complicated history, but I don't think fans want that. They just want the silly clown man.
Yeah, it's the one Ryan Reynolds looking like a misshapen testicle, but yes.
Nice.
With the cameos we've seen, I think that is very much the testing the water to see which animated shows are viable to bring back.
I can't see how they're not doing the Amazing Spider-Man. I just don't understand. Do they not like money? Do they think money doesn't?
Do they not like money?
We've already got our subscriptions.
Spider-Man, like he mentioned once his like on-screen cameo, even though he didn't say words, he wasn't actually involved in the project. He was like, "So, Spider-Man 97, is that going to come? Is it, am I getting one back now?" I think dropping like Reed Richards, Hulk, Iron Man, Cap and stuff is like, you're testing the water to see what fans are going to cling on to. Like, can we have this one back? Could I have that one as well?
Oh, that's right. Cloak and Dagger were cameo as well. Yeah. Dave Hobbs is pointing that out. I totally forgot about that.
So Cloak and Dagger. I was going to say, so did Cloak and Dagger forget about their cameo as well, so it's fine.
Bless them.
Are they like Hawk and Dove?
Oh, yeah. They're better in Hawk and Dove, I'll give them that.
Okay. They are.
But yeah, like he was my Spider-Man growing up, and I've watched it back on Disney Plus like maybe last year or something, and I still liked it. Because it's very comic book style, but I don't know if they would change anything. Because I'd kind of want it to be like exactly the same, because it had like silly music that would play in like every scene, and I think I would miss some of that stuff. But I don't know.
I would like them, if they were going to do it, to go simple. Not simple at all. Like Kingpin was always the big bad in the comic, in the cartoon. So they could always
like in the cartoon, Paul. Like, what haven't they hit like storyline wise? Because they did everything. Like they did Venom in 3 to 5 episodes. They did like Carnage. They did Ben Reilly. They did Madam Web. He went back and met Captain America.
They did the good Madam Web, shall we say?
Probably multiverse, because I mean, like,
no, they did that.
That was
Spider-Verse.
But they did end on that. That was season 5, wasn't it? But then he's going to find Mary Jane. She's in another dimension. So it probably would be more multiversal stuff.
Because her dad was Morbo or something.
Jess said he did find Mary Jane according to X-Men, but there is a gap of how did he find her, so that needs to be told.
It could be a lot of different stories. You could even bring in some modern stories, because like 97, fair enough, some of these characters wouldn't be there, but
can we get Superior Spider-Man?
Could do Superior. We could do even like the Red Goblin instead of like doing the Hobgoblin or anything like that, where the Red
the Goblin Force. I'm sick of the Goblin Force.
Because the Red Goblin it's basically he gets the Carnage symbiote mixed in with the Goblin.
Oh, nah, chuck that out. I don't like that.
It was actually one of the better modern ones as well for Spider-Man. But it could be, as you said, going down Civil War route as well. Do like the actual Civil War that we cartoon version.
If they did.
Punisher,
bring back Captain America at the end.
Watching Punisher being a dick. Oh, amazing. Oh, I love that. Let's do that.
Oh, well, actually, in the Spider-Man show as well, like friggin' Blade shows up for a little bit to chase off Morbius.
I did not know that.
Get away, you crazy Morbius.
Isn't that where they got Whistler from as well? Because I don't think Whistler was a character until Spider-Man.
Really?
I don't know.
And then they added him into the film.
I don't know.
You might be right, because I feel like I read something about that when we did the Blade episode.
Do you know one free comic book day as well? I read the Marvel one that was about vampires. I did not know Blade had a daughter, and she's teaming up with Dracula.
Oh God!
In the new comic.
Yes.
Well.
So
I mean, I think we start going down that route of comic veins. It is so difficult because there's been every different, like a countless amounts of different versions of Spider-Man, countless of the different of the X-Men. So there isn't really a right or wrong story. It just depends on which comic you picked out.
Yeah.
And then it might seem right, but it'll be controversial to another comic of like, no, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
I think
let's just not do what Let's just not do what Zack Snyder did and just get 2 comic books and mash them together and hope to fuck it worked.
Oh, as well, like there was the Fantastic Four cartoon back in the day as well.
I used to watch that.
And I saw this really great clip online where Ghost Rider shows up and does the pen and stare on Galactus and shows him like all of the screaming cries of everyone he's ate, and then he just disappears and they're like, oh, and this was the first and only appearance by Ghost Rider. He just randomly shows up.
If it's not Nicolas Cage, I'm not interested.
I mean, Spider-Man Noir.
I'd say that though, we could get the Inhumans again, like actually see a decent copy of like Black Bolt and stuff like that.
I liked the TV show of the Inhumans. There was some ridiculous.
Well, tell everyone else who didn't watch it. Nobody watched it.
You can't make me like the Inhumans. It's not going to happen.
It's such a shame.
I didn't mind it. I think if it hadn't been so American, midday TV, it could have been so much better. But it is not necessarily the worst. You can see what they were aiming for, but they're kind of locked into how the Americans have these sort of.
Yes,
it's the same things like Grey's Anatomy and things like this. Like they've got a very.
I totally get what you mean. Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from, but
that's all that sort of ruins it.
They got Medusa spot on. Absolutely, like her, all about her was just absolutely spot on. I fucking loved it. Black Bolt was pretty cool. Was it Black Bolt? It is Black Bolt.
Yeah,
it is Black Bolt.
Is this the one with?
Pretty cool.
Is this the one with Ramsay Bolton on the moon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I watched one episode.
They also have a super-powered dog.
You leave that dog alone.
What that dog?
Honestly, you guys should not invoke Inhumans because that means we're going to have to think about whether or not the X gene is a mutated.
Well, that's it.
Gene.
That's it. That's what they've done, isn't it?
You're going to mess everything up.
Kamala Khan is an Inhuman.
Yeah, we're not going there just for yet.
Well, no. Okay.
I'm only winding you up. Oh no, she's enough.
Well, honestly,
I'm with you, Sammy, 100%. I'm with you 100% on this conversation.
Yes. Thank you.
And then what does that make Apocalypse? How can he be the first mutant if there was already Inhumans?
It's two different versions of the story in a sense. When you had Inhumans and X-Men, they went one route with one lot and a different route with the other lot.
Sounds a lot like the Bible now.
It's false evolution in one lot, and then it's natural evolution with the X-Men. They're falsely what we do in the Inhumans.
I don't think you'll ever get. I think because what they have done with Kamala Khan, you'll never get the Inhumans into the MCU now.
I kind of felt like as much as I squealed a little bit when they played the little bit of music over. But it was kind of like, wait a minute, no, that's not her.
That's not her. Where's the Terrigen Mist?
But we did have
The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show that everyone hated.
We had him in.
I watched too many episodes.
It was so good to start with.
I escaped that one.
Paul's trying to say something.
Doctor Strange, Black Bolt was in there, so he is part of MCU canon.
It's just, how would you fit it all in, given what they've done with Kamala's arc? But hey, you never know. Strange things have happened.
It's going to find out. Like Secret Wars is going to answer and basically hopefully click that reset
multiverse
button.
Anything that's a plot tool, they can just go, multiverse.
Yes.
Well, we
pretty
do.
much, yeah.
But the great thing though, as well, like say going back to X-Men '97, this is like just this one show that Marvel have done well has opened up all these different conversations again. Because let's be honest, from what we've been getting, has anyone been talking about Marvel or what the future holds for Marvel for how long?
No, because we haven't given a shit. Mm-hmm. We really haven't given a shit. Anytime we've talked about Marvel recently, it's always turned quite sour.
Well, none of us have been like. I'm not saying none of us, but I think only like Paul maybe has been actually keeping up with the movies, because like I just stopped watching stuff at a certain point.
I've been watching the movies, but just not the shows.
the movies, but not the TV shows.
Yeah. Well, he's very quiet about it.
A few shows have been amazing. Like Miss Marvel was just class.
I like that. Yeah. Then like partway through Secret Wars, I just dropped off, and I don't think I watched any Marvel after that.
No, we didn't watch that. We didn't watch Loki.
I've kept up with the whole lot. I just haven't maybe intently watched it as soon as it's dropping. Like it's been more of a casual watch now in the background. But it's the same thing that happened to the Fox universe. We had this before. We ate up every movie that Fox was giving us.
I did not watch. I did not watch Dark Phoenix. That did not get watched.
I've seen that.
I mean, like old school Fox stuff. Yeah. So when we had the Fantastic Four, we had the Spider-Man movies, we had all the X-Men movies, Daredevil and Elektra and stuff. But the fatigue hit.
I saw Elektra at the cinema.
Did you watch?
And that's why that universe stopped. Where they went, like, we need to give it a break. People don't want these movies anymore, and we've kind of hit the same thing again. Only we're in a completely different era.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
People are a lot more vocal. People expect stuff on demand.
And everyone has a keyboard.
It's not just this though. It's not. It's not just this series though, because like Paul, you were saying when you were putting Warner Brothers and DC on blast as well. Like everyone's fell off a cliff, like quality wise, because I think they've all been like racing each other, and it's like same with like Star Wars and everything. Like we've hit like critical mass where like they're making these shows so fast it just doesn't feel like they're putting any care into them, and it's like.
The only problem is the biggest factor of it is we are the problem. Well, we expect everything as soon as we want every bit of information, every tidbit. We make our theories, our plots. It's very hard to make movies if people are pressuring you like that.
Do you know how many podcasts I do a week?
I'll have a good nerd out. Don't get me wrong, but there is. Possible problem here.
I'm going to make a statement, and people will either say I am completely wrong or think the worst thing to happen to comic book movies was the MCU, not because of what we got, is the expectation that it came from, and then everyone tried to replicate what we got with the MCU. Yes, like going from Iron Man to Endgame was absolutely beautiful and one of the best things, to happen to comic book movies or or to nerd films as a point. But at the same point, it's probably the worst thing that's ever happened, just because everyone wants to have that MCU moment, going from not just like Marvel, Disney, Warner Brothers. We've got Sony trying to own Spider Universe now and stuff like that. Everyone wants to have that blueprint, and it was kind of like a lightning in the bottle type situation where the perfect storm, the perfect actors, and let's be honest, if you go back in the MCU, some of their movies are fucking atrocious. I don't care what you say. Some of them
Iron Man 3 and fucking Dark World can get in the fucking bin.
Well, it's not even that though.
No, like the next Dark World look really great now.
To be honest though, like I tried to go back and watch Civil War the other week, and I had to just turn it off after 45 minutes. I was like, they're sitting around in boardrooms talking to each other, but in my mind, I was like, Civil War was one of the highlights, and I was really disappointed when I actually went back to try and watch it. I think like Jessica was saying, they came out so fast and everyone was just like gobbling up all these references and being like, what's the after the credits thing going to be this time? Like I think people forgot to watch the movies and actually pay attention.
To be fair though, a lot of them you watch just for the end credits. You were saying what's going to be on the end credits scene. That was the highlight
because they made it a marketing thing. That was entirely by their design. And it shot them in the foot, but now everyone does it.
Everyone's like, "Who's that purple man in space?"
It used to,
it's Lee.
Don't, he will.
You know how we've done a lot of crappy video game movies, like from the 90s and stuff. Have you noticed that most of them have had after the credits thing?
Yes.
Where like the bad guy's hand comes out of the rubble. Like it used to be a thing you were embarrassed about doing back in the day, like the end ? Like that used to be gauche. That used to be like reserved for like childish video game
Mac and Me and stuff like that.
No, Nightmare on Elm Street, the bad mannequin getting pulled through the window the first movie.
That is the only redeeming thing about that whole movie.
And the Jason mask. But yeah, like it used to be a thing that serious filmmakers wouldn't touch, and they like spun it into like, this is prestige. And I think it's all fell back apart.
So,
it's bizarre. Like I find it very strange because this is a complete thing of entire cinema. This happens to every genre, and you'll see it through waves of movies. I mean, horror is really great for it. It's like we've had, the slasher genre was huge for a bit, then we got defunct on that. So then we moved on to kind of our supernatural, poltergeist, paranormal activity crap, and we're back again.
Mm-hmm.
All films do this. Once so many have been picked up and pushed out, every viewer gets fatigue after a while and said, now give me something new.
Mm-hmm.
But with the comic book fandom, it's so much different, where it's kind of, they don't want it to end, but they're just still not happy. And it's like, either we need to have a pause, let us all have a break, and maybe come in
take a deep breath. Yeah.
Do you not think
totally agree with you.
Out of that as well, it's due to not taking risks in the comic book world? Because as you said, all the different genres you've mentioned, like the horror one, it's not because I know Samuel probably punches in the face.
I don't want to touch on the monsters. It's just the easiest one for me to kind of
it's totally understandable.
It's fun.
Totally understandable.
There's only so many horror stories or horror tales you can tell. There's very little new or anything on different. When it comes to comic books, there's such a vast library of stories and things to tell that it gets disappointing when they just go back to the old faithful stories. This is where I was excited when we got the Spider-Man. We didn't see Uncle Ben dying for the 17 millionth time. If we
we got sexy Aunt May dying instead.
No, but again, it's a different slant. It's a different way. But when directors of comic, again, I feel like I'm being a dick here now. When comic book movie directors go back to, we're just going to tell another story about this or another story about that, that's where surprises like Guardians of the Galaxy comes from, where it's not a story that isn't well known or well told. It's great, it's new. Then again, like, not to shit on it, like you get Captain Marvel, which again is a new character, but in essence it's the same story of big like superpowered woman defeating army of aliens. It's like there's so many different stories and different things and tones you could tell, and then we get like things like Miss Marvel, which was such a fresh take and took on different cultures, which was a nice change, a little breath. Like even WandaVision went so far out the box, and it was different, and it was interesting. It's when,
but you remember when it did fall apart was when it went back to like the superhero shit, when it was like, we're gonna fire beams at each other now for the end episode, and then everyone got bored, and it became about what's after the credits. Wanda.
No, definitely, but that's
right.
what.
It's like Guardians, and even with X-Men 97, there's no expectation. We didn't know what we were getting. At all. We weren't told anything we were going to get for X-Men 97. We just knew it was coming back. That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
And all we wanted to hear was the tune.
I was going to say, like, as soon as we heard that the theme tune was going to be part of it, it was like, well, this is going to be amazing.
Well, we just don't care anymore because that's just going to bring it all home. You know, with the Captain Marvel thing you were mentioning, I really wish they just went with her actual origin story because it would have been so much more fucked up than what it actually was that you got in the MCU, and might have made her a bit more interesting.
To me, that Captain Marvel feels like the Green Lantern, the Ryan Reynolds movie.
I see what
it just feels like a copy of that.
Oh, I actually see what you mean.
They just wanted to use the de-aging tech on Samuel L. Jackson and just get him in the memory banks, because they did it again in Secret Wars. So they were just like, But that's them being irresponsible with the tech. Like, we shouldn't have that inflicted on us if it's a tech demo.
Yeah. But no. There's something now I have with the superhero movies. Like, I don't want to know anything beforehand. I don't want to. As much as I'm terrible for speculating, and I will dig through YouTube for every little thing. I am so guilty for doing it. But there are sometimes like I don't want to know. Just drop a movie and let me watch it. With no expectation, be able to go in with fresh eyes and just enjoy it.
Do it though.
No,
you just can't in this day and age. You can't.
Just to finish off on the X-Men feel as well. One thing we touched on, but we didn't talk about in great deal, which I think it deserves the credit it does, and how clever it was used. The credits and how the credits changed depending on which character came in or which character was killed off.
Yeah.
I thought was absolutely brilliantly and breathtaking. And I know just in there the episode where they removed Gambit.
Cold and they took him out of the credits.
I mean, they couldn't keep him in because you would have then been like, "Oh, he's going to come back." Your heart would have been broken all over again.
Yeah. Can I just say one oddly specific thing about the credits that I didn't like was that in the old one. Like when Wolverine like punches the screen, it had this like noise in the old one, but it was just a weak little slash in this one.
Oh,
and my childhood brain was like, "Oh, that's the part I liked."
I loved the emphasis how it's the same song. Obviously, it's the same music.
It was different,
slightly dialed. Was it different?
It was a cover.
It was a cover. I love Jubilee's part.
Yeah,
it's when the guitars go and the guitars kick in. I'm like, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yes, I thought that
was actually they did cut out some parts of the song that I actually liked, and I was like, oh no, they've changed like the orchestral line there.
But even the end credit scene, the end credit scene was fucking fantastic. Like it's no different than what you got at the end.
The little 90s computer program to check the X-Men stats.
And then you kind of reeling off that episode going, oh, what am I looking at here?
My only question with that
thing pissed us off.
Wasn't it a drawn? Sorry, was it drawn instead of a CGI one that was on the original?
Yeah. Oh, right. Got you. Sorry, Lee's about to get pissed off again, but it seems that's all he's done in this episode is get pissed off.
I've mentioned before about like I need things to be finished. Like my OCD doesn't let it happen. Like that time Goodwill cut off the stream too early before Adam's Voyager theme tune finished.
Yeah.
With the X-Men finale, ending sequence, it doesn't show all of the X-Men on the thing where it pulls them down, and it still leaves it. Who does it leave?
It always
Rogue and someone else, and it's just pull the other ones down. I want to see what their thing is.
It never did. That was the thing. It never did.
Lee,
it's gonna mess with me.
I don't even remember the end credits of the X-Men, but maybe as a kid I was already jumping around pretending to be like Apocalypse or whatever.
Originally, it used to be different ones at the end of each episode that it would click on, so you would get all of them, but it'd have to be the right episode to see which ones pulled down. I don't know if they did that this time. That the alternative, which ones it would click on.
Because
Lee's clearly upset about it.
I was keeping an eye out, like I just want to see that one.
So Lee turns into Master Mold. He still gets too angry at the X-Men.
Oh God, we're gonna get a video, aren't we? This is how you do completion.
I don't want to see how Lee completes. Please, no. I don't want to say that. We do not. No.
I want to say something before I forget, which I did warn myself. I was like, I'm going to forget things, and this was the thing I wanted to say. I loved how they put video game stuff specifically from Marvel fighting games in this. Because remember when Cyclops did his like giant optic blast at Magneto, and it was like this wide coming out of his head. That is exactly what his super move looks like in like the old Marvel games.
When the old Capcom versus
yes, because it has to be as big as the giant Hadoukens and everything, and it's like, and yeah, obviously they had the video game episode which had
Mojo,
Jojo.
But I just wanted to shout out that they were definitely calling upon like Marvel versus Capcom video games for like actual battle moves, and that was much appreciated.
Very much.
Give me 2 seconds. I have to dip off the camera. 2 seconds.
She's going to come back in a different outfit.
But she's got a nice pillow.
She's either that or she's going to come back as Blanca now. So let's hope. Street Fighter reference. Anyone goes back to watch our previous episodes?
Hey, look at him referencing old episodes. Also, if you want to watch another, oh god, I can't even talk. A video game movie, Super Mario Brothers.
No, don't watch that movie. It's a bad movie.
Watch it.
Well, the Mario Brothers and plumbing's our game.
But no, but as you said, the computer game episode, that was well done. I was like callback really to like the old one, but again,
X-Men going with Arcade,
Mojo coming back and telling like, oh, I've moved on from movies and TV shows now. It's now all about like almost like a Twitch streamer in the universe.
Well, you are right. Like Mojo's right though, because the real world has become the Mojo TV shows, like reality TV.
It's like the real world.
Oh God, why is Lee moved near the camera now? Like what's in store?
I just sat up. I slouched down.
Is there any reason you didn't take a drink when you took your tablet?
Because I've run out. Look. Actually, there was a little bit came out there.
Just watching your face when you took that was so funny.
Oh,
it's horrible.
You weird human boy.
Lee, is there anything you actually liked about the X-Men? Because you really have had like a gripe with a lot of things in this episode.
No, it was amazing. It's just when you're watching anything and it's like dramatic, you're gonna get annoyed with some people's decisions, and like you guys talk about all the nice stuff, and that just leaves me to go, "Fuck you, Xavier, you dick."
Is there anything that you like about the X-Men, or that you thought you were going to get that you didn't get? Lee?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I didn't expect to get this much morph, which, like I said, I feel like my favorite thing in this was morph, and so much of Scott Summers. Like, I love that we got. I've already said we got loads more of him, and just the parts of the story that he got, like having to deal with the loss of a gene and gaining a different gene and choosing between them, becoming a father, losing his child, regaining his son, becoming the leader of the X-Men, then having it taken away from him by Magneto, regaining Charles back into his life,
thinking he was dead, like done for.
Like, yeah, just everything he's been through. Like, I feel like this was the Scott Summers show.
Do you think he went for a moral dilemma? Because like when you find out he was clone, he must have been doing stuff with her to have a baby. That's how stuff works, right?
That would have been like that's like totes awkward, like that whole thing. Like I would have not want to been him in that situation.
That's an awkward conversation to have with
Gene's like, did you fuck her? Did you fuck her? Well, we had a kid.
What do you think, Pet?
Well, he was still having secret mind dates with her because she found him out.
Yeah. I do love that thing where it's like psychic things were our thing, as if you're doing it with the other one.
Yeah, like I said,
Scott, man, he kind of Dean outright.
He can't even retreat into his own head.
Filthy Scott Summers.
How devastating it is though when they're going through the ruins of Genosha and Jean's with him. It's like there's a telepath.
Yeah.
Alive in the ruins, and then when it's not her and he just sits there and he just cries.
Yeah,
because like it's official, like she didn't make it out.
I
mean, you can never count out like a Jean Grey level telepath, like like Madeline's like on the same level, and I think she's had the Phoenix Force before, and it's like you can never count out a Summers family member.
But Jean was very quick to step in the shoes of Madeline at the end with Mom title, wasn't she? Very quick to say, yes, you're my son. It's like, hang on a minute.
But like in another...
Every time Cable's like, you're not my mother.
Like, shut up, later thing. Yes, I am.
Oh, that was actually a really cool moment where Cable revealed he had like more telepath powers that he's sort of been letting on. Which I think is accurate. I think he's also Omega level.
No, Cable is one of the.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was saying Cable is one of the like big hitters like in the comics as well. He's always underplayed though when it comes to it though. I think he gets more of a showing in X-Force at times, but it just I think depends. He's not really X-Men material, if that makes sense, because he's not a good guy, he's not a bad guy, he's more always
guy.
on the cuffs of things.
And his design is stuck in the 90s. He's perfect for being a time traveler because he's like, stuck.
Timeless.
So what are you going to say there, lovely Lee?
So one thing I loved in this was just the blurred line between good and evil. Mm-hmm. It's like there wasn't really a side, and it crossed over into each other.
But to be fair, though, that's just your personality, as most of things in life generally.
It's also isn't that the X-Men narrative throughout, the blurred line between good and evil?
Yeah, Magneto's like 90% right.
How fast it would happen as well, though, like Rogue leaving, fighting the X-Men, and then literally 10 minutes later, she's like, all right, well, I'm back on your side.
And then just throwing away Cap's shield and saying, fuck you, Captain America, you dick.
There's conversations I would like to have about that, but...
I wouldn't talk back to Rogue. Like, say, I would just be like, yes, I'm sorry.
That's the whole thing about X-Men, though. Like, the family, like, they can just come back together. I feel like that's accepted.
Oh, a bit like the Nerdy Up North family.
She is the tank of the group. Because we've had all the movies, it's not really shown her in that sort of vein. And like revisiting back in, it's like she is terrifyingly powerful.
Yeah.
Like the reaction when she's taken out by the was it Gyrick or
like the new Sentinel thing. Yeah.
Was it Trask out the window and she thought she killed him?
But Cyclops' line is like, it's just taken out Rogue. Like, if they took her down, we're screwed.
No,
she doesn't go down.
No, I'm not going there.
No, she doesn't actually.
No.
As we know what'll happen. But yeah, like it was cool how she met Thunderbolt Ross as well for a little bit and told him where to go.
Get fucked.
He's a dick.
But then did you hear the nerds were like, that they're saying she's stronger than the Hulk? She's not stronger than the Hulk. The Hulk's infinitely strong. And then everyone had to be like, dude, it's a running joke that Thunderbolt thinks all of his machines are stronger than the Hulk, and they never are. No. Like, it's fine.
That's not. The Hulk. I just wish they would do the Hulk right. He's been done dirty. So
the cartoon was awful. I used to watch it. It was so bad.
The comic of Planet Hulk though is just fucking spectacular. One of the best reads. I love that.
I think like in that one, Kitty Pryde tries to kill the Hulk or like chop all his limbs off by like embedding him in the ground. Because he's so strong, he doesn't. But she's like, that would normally happen if I left someone like in a wall type of thing.
Like, Hulk
she's hardcore Kitty Pryde.
Yeah,
that's another character that wasn't mentioned as well. Like,
would she have been born?
No, 97.
She's on the wall at the end. She's another one that's shown on the wall at Kitty.
I didn't see this wall.
Shadow Cat.
Yeah, Shadow Cat. Yeah. Shadow Cat.
Yeah,
and,
definitely go back and look at that.
I'm gonna have to look at that wall.
Yeah. You know what might be like? It might be impossible, but if they go like timeline universe hopping sort of thing, like. Could they end up in the X-Men Evolution cartoon for just a little while?
No.
It was really good. I love that cartoon.
Oh,
yeah.
Love that show.
It was
excellent, man, Paul. It was as good as the Extreme Ghostbusters, which was better than the real Ghostbusters.
Sammy's going to fight you now, right? I'm going to put Jake's address on for any Scientologists that want to come to him.
You can take him.
Jake also feels like Scientology is a scam. He said it to us off screen. Just come for him now. It's fine. He's upset us all. But yes, on that note, fuck yourselves and we're going home.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. We've been going a long time. And to be fair, I don't think we would be able to stop the conversation.
No, it's one of those things where it can just lead
so many X-Men.
It just can lead into so much excitement. And that's one of the things, I know I reiterated before, this has brought back so much excitement for me. And just like, and again, to steal a line from Superman, it's brought hope to us all.
Oh, well, Lee's going to burst if he doesn't say what he's about to say.
No, sorry. At the end, I'll always go, oh, I've got one last thing I need to say. I haven't got stuff I need to say about the X-Men. I've got notes about this podcast. So
we're there. We're getting notes on the podcast now. I'm going to bitch slap you on Saturday now.
Right, so every time Jake mentioned Teenage Apocalypse, my brain was going, Teenage Mutant Egyptian Apocalypse. And then when you're mentioning, like, was a Wolverine driving Jean to the hospital? We really need a video of that cut with Police Academy, not a Police Academy, was it a Police Squad opening? Like going up to the shop mall and everything. And my last thing is just for Jake saying, all these things that have the after credits scene, it's only the prestigious things now. Have you noticed Jake's got after credits on all of his streams now? Oh, see what he did?
I do. But I also call them trash.
Yeah. I hate that he picks up on this shit. You've always been like this.
Lee, are you the new Martin?
No, he's the Watcher.
He's the Watcher. He is. He's the guy on the moon watching everything.
And a new introduction to a new character, Creepy Lee. You fucking dickhead.
No.
Everyone send him your socks, you filthy animal.
No, don't do this to us.
So yes, so thank you guys for tuning in. I know, like I say, it's a lot we are putting out, so thank you for all putting in. If you do watch back like during the week or listen to on like Spotify, I know Sammy does do the work for that, bless her, but I'll probably jump on tomorrow and just upload this, so I'll give her a break for the day.
Yeah, we love the archive watchers and listeners. They're those guys are awesome.
Yeah, you weirdos.
Yeah,
you creeps.
And if you feel like going back and watching any of our other stuff, go and do it, because it's really good.
Just don't watch the first episode, it was really bad.
Just start from 2.0 and work your way up.
Well, no, there's still some good ones. I still say the conspiracy
stuff is quite evergreen, because like, you know, we talk about things that aren't new as often as we talk about new stuff.
Yes.
We are very retro, aren't we? This is like one of the rare times. This is one of the rare times that we actually have talked about something on time.
Yeah.
In real time.
Because it was good enough to make us all watch week to week, which is rare these days.
I am gonna miss every Wednesday just typing in our chat X-Men.
I'm still gonna do it. I'm just gonna put in the chat.
Watched it?
On the Wednesday, I'm just gonna type X-Men and go, Lee, have you watched it yet? And watch him freak out, thinking, what have I
talk about it.
What have I meant to be watching? Because Lee will freak out about anything. It's easy to do. You are the most gullible puppy ever in the world, bless you.
You really. Oh,
he's a little puppy dog.
Puppy.
But yes.
As always, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss out on any other episodes from the Nerdy Up North crew.
Just saying, I still got the video.
You better hit that like button, Bob.
Bad timing there, Lee.
Bad timing.
Why do we need to push that thumbs up button anyway?
You know they can hear you talking behind this.
Yes,
right?
I know. That's all.
Damn it! Put your hand on that wall.
I don't think Jessica's seen this.
No. Oh, bless her.
You will hit that like button, or I will disable your hand.
Lee tried to time thing well, bless
Hey,
her.
Scott Summers was there with him. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, Lemmy Winks was with him on Sunday. Running across the street.
Do you want to do it again there, Lee? I spoke your moment there, sorry.
Oh, I've got a bonus.
You better hit that like button, Bob.
I've got a bone to pick with you about Lemmy Winks. You guys didn't realize it was an old school animated Hobbit reference.
No.
Anyway,
I realized I didn't know jack shit about about South Park until we started talking about it, and I'm like, oh, I want to do the movie and the video game and fuck the series.
Oh, bless. Me and Joe and Adam did well. It was fine.
It was really good listening to all three of them while I sat there and went, oh shit, you actually don't know anything.
That was a fun one just because of how much fun everyone was having on it.
If you want to watch Adam dying on the stream as well.
Oh, bless his heart. He was so bad, but his impressions were brilliant. Joe's rant will forever stay in my head. I will categorize my whole timeline PD, pre-PD, post-PD.
Yes. So this week, tomorrow, again, there will be on game on the Nerdy Up North gaming channel on Twitch. Adam will be playing Adam Wake 2. Then I would believe we are giving you a Thursday off. Yes, you're not seeing us on a Thursday, so you can do things like have fun with family and stuff. Yes,
I'll be on the train to Comic-Con, which is the thing that's happening this weekend. Oh yeah.
Jake's gone on holiday. We'll give him
London,
time off.
MCM, Comic-Con, Beep Boop.
Yes.
Come say hi if you see me.
Yes.
But it's really big, so
I'm going to say this for the first time. I don't think it's ever been said on stream. If you see Jake at Comic-Con, you've got to lick him. Lick a Jake. So Jake is going to get licked at Comic-Con. That's going to happen.
Make a request first.
Ask for consent.
Always consent.
Always
or I'll
consent.
start chopping stuff.
Take Lee's Wolverine claws.
We haven't said happy birthday, Graham.
He's not watching.
Magnificent
He's not watching.
PCN.
No,
I know.
I'll turn you
but
off.
Still.
He's not watching. We're going to see him on Sunday, but
it's his birthday. He'll be having a nice time.
He could have tuned in. He's not getting a happy birthday because he's not watching us. So no.
So I will say then, happy birthday, Graham. You're a wonderful human being. Happy birthday.
Fuck you, Graham. Fuck you. But yes, happy birthday, Graham. We'll see you on Saturday. And before that, you'll see. We can clip him. Yes, that's fine. We'll see Goodwill and Graham on Friday for another episode of Trekking Up North. Then you won't have anything on Saturday because we're all going out. And like say, you might see us in person. And if you see a Goodwill, like a Goodwill, just saying. And also Sunday we'll be back with the scary and the most terrifying episode of Nerdy Up North, which will be
of a wheeler.
Which will be
we'll
probably have a hungover Jess and a hungover Graham on that episode. I'll say happy birthday on Sunday because he's on that episode.
Oh well.
We're doing Return to Oz, and Kelly's going to be on there as well, so that's going to be quite manic.
Oh gosh.
Take your painkillers before that one if anyone's got a headache.
So we'll have a bet on see how many times she can say fuck in the whole episode.
Has Jess been on an episode with Kelly before?
No.
Oh, you're in for a treat. If you thought Graham was something, you wait until you meet Kelly.
Yes.
Oh, I love doing the ones for Graham, honestly. He's always good fun.
And also...
You are a good sport, because some people would have been really fucking annoyed by now.
Yes. And we've got Monsters on Monday. And again, I do apologise for doing this to you guys. We have another special episode next Tuesday.
We do!
Where we do have an extra special guest. Not that all our guests are special, but this guy has been in movies like Rogue One, Avatar. He's been in he's been in Predator vs. Alien. He's been in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
And most importantly, Game of Thrones.
So yes. So
that's next Tuesday.
Yes.
Oh.
Well done, Lee.
See you next Tuesday, everyone.
Yes. And on that note, same back time, same back channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, bub.